Kia ora koutou katoa. Welcome to the inaugural Northern Region Futsal Premier League Draft for 2020. I am Mark Atkins, the General Manager for this year's NRF Futsal Premier League. Thank you for tuning in, and we will now begin. The pick order is as follows. First pick goes to the South, coached by Alejo Perez Leguizamon. The second pick goes to Westlands, coached by Sam Masterson. The third pick goes to Eastlands, coached by Ben Hill. And the fourth pick goes to the North, coached by Sam Coyle. We'll now cross over to our commentators Mark Matsis and Todd Bryant.
So Mark, how are we, my friend? What a treat it is to bring the NRF Futsal Premier League Draft to Auckland, Waibop and Northern for 2020. How are we, my friend?
Kia ora, Todd. Wow, very exciting, isn't it? I do love this format, and great to see it finally getting off the ground in New Zealand for the futsal for the first time. Pretty exciting players on paper, and it will be interesting to see who the number one picks are from this pre-selected round.
There are two homegrown pre-selected picks per team. They are as follows. The South has selected Mike Antimonov and Marvin Eakins. Westlands has selected Patrick Steele and Casey Sharplin. Eastlands has selected Jay Silcock and Rye McLeod. The North has selected Mohammed Sabri and Ben Colpin.
Wow, we'll start with the South, Todd. And looks like the coach has gone with Marvin Eakins, the experienced Mr. Futsal himself, as the first pick. Do you agree with that pick, Todd?
Well, firstly, Mark, I'd like to comment on his nickname he's put down this year, Marvin Economic Eakins. Certainly an interesting one. What do you think of that?
Well, I believe I actually coined Marvin Mr. Futsal Eakins myself, so I probably won't be changing on that. But I think he's an experienced player to bring into his side, and it'll be interesting to see if the coach chooses to put a bit of youth around him and help him bring those up. And of course, he's gone for a pretty trusty goalkeeper.
Mike Antomonov, certainly a great man between the sticks. It's a hard man to beat, and I would say with Marvin Eakins in that fixer role and Mike Antomonov on goal will certainly be a tricky one for the other teams to get anything past them, Mark.
Yeah, and we jump over to the Westland side now, goalkeeper as well, Patrick Steele. Todd, good pick for a goalkeeper first up.
Patrick Steele, what a player. He's part of the 2019 Men's Super League winning team in Waikato Rapids. He's was also the Golden Glove for the season. So certainly a great pick for Sam Masterson's side. And also Casey Sharplin, the engine, joining Patrick Steele on the pre-selected list.
There's a couple of good decisions there. If we go to Eastlands now, we've gone with Jay Silcock. And, I mean, he's a strong performer throughout the National League as well. And a player that I haven't heard much about is McLeod here. Todd, any insight onto him?
Ryan McLeod, yeah, certainly. He's a young player that's come through the Bay of Plenty region. I'm excited to see how he goes in the draft this season, Mark. And Jay Silcock, also a leader within that Bay of Plenty Surge side. So, yeah, another good selection from Ben Hill, the coach for Eastlands. And
finally, the North, Mo Sabri, another goalkeeper as well. So just one of the teams not going with a goalkeeper in the pre-selected. And, of course, Colpin, who's a big goal scorer, and you'd expect him to knock in a few during this event. Yeah, certainly. Both players are strong NRF Comets players, and Sabri making his debut for the Futsal Whites last year in the Nations Cup in New Caledonia, and Ben Colpin, experienced campaigner. So, yeah, Sam Coyle can't complain about his picks there, Mark.
With the first pick of the Northern Region Football Premier League Draft, the South select
Shibi Anthony.
Anthony, first pick for the South, Alejo. Good one there, Mark. What are your thoughts?
That's a great pick. We've seen her, what a performance this year in the Women's National League. It feels like a lifetime ago, Todd, that we were up in Wellington commentating on that series, but she was a strong performer in that winning side, and a great first pick to bring some real fire to the south side.
With the second pick, Westlands selects
Ethan Martin.
Martin, MVP, 2019 Men's Futsal Super League. The man with the tricks, the man with the goals, the man in defence. He's a very useful player, Mark. What are your thoughts on Sam Marston's first pick of the round?
Oh, it's a great pick first up. Great final performance against the Southern United side last year in the final. You know, in big games, you need your big players to come through, and that's a great first up pick.
Yeah, Martin's certainly an exciting player for me, and I think he's got a really bright future ahead of him, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play in the draft, Mark.
with the third pick, Eastlands selects
Hannah Krachman.
Krachman, first pick for Ben Hill's Eastland side. Strong start for him, and she certainly was a prominent player in the Women's Super League 2020 winning side for AFF, and also a futsal fern coming back from injury, ACL surgery. Mark, thoughts on that pick?
Yeah, my first look at her at the start of this year, very impressed, strong on the ball, and a good powerful shot behind. It's a great pick as well to settle in for the side there from Eastlands. Be interesting to see how the team is built around these first picks, but looking forward as the draft progresses.
Yeah, well done, Ben Hill.
with the fourth pick, the North select
Eduardo Espinosa.
Espinosa, first pick for Sam Coyle for the North. Espinosa featuring the Northern Comets side this year, Mark.
Yeah, I believe he had a stint at AFF before that as well, winning the title back in 2018 with them. I mean, would that be the first round pick you'd go for, Todd? Not sure.
Yeah, maybe tactics there from Sam Coyle as they have the first pick in the second round.
Yeah, no, you're right. Sorry, forgot about the snake system here where they will get the first pick in the next round. Great point there, Todd.
Yeah, so let's see what he comes up with next, Mark. That's our first round done, Mark. Good first round it was as well. My pick of the round was definitely Ethan Martin, probably one of my favourite players to watch. Had a great 2019 Super League, and I think he brings a lot to this draft. So definitely my favourite pick of the round. What about you?
Yeah, the MVP of the Men's National League from last year is not a bad shout. And again, two strong female players picked in the first round as well. So I'm really excited to see what they can bring to each squad.
with the fifth pick, the North select
Stephen Ashby.
Ashby, second pick for Sam Coyle. Very strong player there out on the flanks, Mark, and Ashby, definitely a good addition to that North side.
Yeah, I think my comments before on Espinosa can be taken away there. That's clearly a dual pick there with those two, probably having played together in the past AFF. Ashby Peckham was obviously the MVP in the 2018 series National League as well. Strong left-footed shooter is the word I'm looking for there, and a great pick in any side.
with the sixth pick, Eastlands selects
Fawn Somerville.
Somerville, second pick for Ben Hill's side, the Eastlands. Goalkeeper, Mark.
Yeah, he had to pick one, and I guess the risk of not going for the pre-selected goalkeeper means that you've got to pick a goalkeeper early. But Vaughan Somerville, great between the sticks, and just a great guy to have on the team as well.
Certainly a good guy for that team culture, and he's very tidy in goal, and done a great job for AFF over the years. So, yeah, great pick from Ben Hill there.
with the seventh pick, Westlands selects
Geordie Dipfit.
Dipfit Futsal Player of the Year 2018, Mark, and also a key member of the Waikato Rapids who won the Men's Super League in 2019, and certainly would have been on my side, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, I think he really did come into his own last year during the National League. Real maturing player, and obviously I believe he went overseas with the World Cup qualification side as well, and really brought that experience back into the National League. So I'm excited to see him in the side, and I think that's a great pick.
Yeah, spending a lot of flair from Mr. Dipford.
With the 8th pick, the South select
Sean McEntee.
McEntee, the second pick for Aliho's side, the South. And McEntee, very good in that target role, Mark, and I'm sure he's going to cause many problems for those defensive moments of the game.
Yeah, vastly experienced player. Obviously did a big stint down in the South with Southern United before moving up to Auckland. And I believe he was also the top goal scorer at the Champions League, the Oceania Futsal Tournament as well. So he can score, and he's a big, strong player, and I'm sure he'll be looking to score goals like he collects shoes, Todd.
That's 8 players picked now, Mark, and round 2 was good. I was happy with that. Geordie Ditford, probably my pick of the round, another player from the Westlands. It's 2 from 2 for me, and Ditford, Futsal Player of the Year, as I mentioned earlier, certainly brings a lot to this draft. What are your thoughts?
Scoring goals and saving goals. That's what I'd call round 2, Todd, if I was going to summarise it. 3 quality goal scorers in each side and a quality shot stopper. I can't go past Sean McEntee. He'd probably be my number 1 pick just because he's such a nice guy. But again, Stephen Ashby, the shot that he has on him as well. And after picking no goalkeeper in the pre-selection, it was an important pick as well for Ben Hill. So, look, I'm going to sit on the fence for this round, Todd, and we'll agree to disagree.
with the 9th pick, the South select
Adam Paulson.
Olsen, third pick for the South, Aliho, going with the youth, the young, and the brilliant IFC Futsal Champions League young player of the tournament, Mark, and he's certainly an exciting one for me, and I love watching Mr. Paulson play.
Yeah, it really came out of the blocks in 2018, and having seen quite a few years of the National League before that, to see a young player come through and make such an impact for the Auckland side was impressive. And again, he really did shine through in the Oceania League. So again, there's no real lack of talent, no lack of bad choices at the moment. It's pretty much every player that's been picked is top class.
With the 10th pick, Westlands selects
Kyle Wisniewski.
Wisniewski, that's brother of Logan Wisniewski, Kyle Wisniewski. Good third pick there from Sam Masterton. Knows him well, coached him for the Rapids, and very tricky man in that target role, Mark. And just like McEntee, I think he's going to cause a few issues.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good pick when you see the sides now start to build a team around what they're looking for. And obviously with Sean being picked before, it puts the pressure on to pick that target man, and not a bad player to pick. Obviously, again, a great season with the Rapids, getting that first title. So exciting to see, where these younger players are going to be coming up as we move forward.
with the 11th pick, Eastlands selects
Kyle Goosen.
Goosen, third pick for Ben Hill, also goes by the name Goose. NFF player, young, 17 years old, Mark. What are your thoughts?
Well, the Goose plays for Birkenhead United. I believe that's where a young Oban Hawkins made his football career as well before heading down south for the Otago University team. Probably not the time to talk about how great their season was this year. It's great to see them in the top 4. But we're here to talk about the youngster, and I mean, into his second or third year this year playing National League. To me, so far, this is probably the surprise pick in terms of, what players are left to choose. But obviously, Ben Hill sees something in him, and I like to see it. I like to see the youngsters coming through.
with the 12th pick, the North select
I like Maxine Cooper.
Cooper, third pick for the North, Sam Coyle. Very strong pick from him. Captain of the Futsal Ferns as Maxine Cooper, and she certainly brings a lot to the side.
Yeah, and obviously we were involved with the women's competition at the start of this year, and she had a strong performance captaining that Auckland side as well to the victory over Canterbury. So I think she brings a lot. She brings leadership and experience to this side, and I think she's a great fit for what they've picked so far.
And that's our round 3 all wrapped up. Probably got Cooper, Wisniewski, and Paulson. all three strong players. But for me, it's going to have to be Paulson for this round, young player. And he certainly brings a lot to the south, and Leho's done well to nip him up. I thought he potentially could have gone earlier, could Paulson, but also good to see Cooper feature early in the draft as well.
Paulson's a strong complement to McEntee, big, strong McEntee and agile Paulson. So again, you can see the coaches going through and trying to make sure that they've got the right combinations with the players. We can't forget about the fact that the pre-selected players make a bit of an impact on each pick as well. So yeah, another great round, and all squads are starting to take shape with 5 players now named each.
With the 13th pick, the North select Hamish Gray.
Gray, another young player coming through the ranks, is Hamish Gray, playing for AFF, and he's tends to play with Paulson, so it's going to be interesting to see them in separate teams. Mark, I haven't actually seen them play separately, so I'm really looking forward to seeing this one.
Yeah, it's a great point, Todd. And I mean, I felt with Gray last year in the National League, he was that player that just popped up when needed and to get the goals. He's got some absolute screamers. I remember a couple quite fondly from last year. But again, a great young pick. And I mean, it's great to see some of these youngsters being picked. Obviously, the coaches are seeing something that these youngsters can bring.
With the 14th pick, Eastlands selects Dan Colpin.
Colpin, 4th pick for Eastlands. Very strong pick there from Ben Hill, Northern Comets player. Loves scoring a goal, Mark, and I'm sure he's going to score a few more in the NRF Futsal Premier League this season.
No, absolutely not wrong there, Todd. And put in your diary that first game against the North, because Ben against Dan is going to be a great battle. You're right, though. Dan loves to score goals, and I'm sure we'll see it happen a lot again.
With the 15th pick, Westland selects
Dana Manick.
Manick just come back from Canada, futsal fin, AFF player. It's going to be interesting to see how she fits into this Waikato Rapid heavy side so far. Mark, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously I haven't seen a lot of her play. I believe she missed this year's women's competition. But, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing, hopefully she'll be able to spark up a bit of a relationship with Geordie Ditfit on the court. I'm looking forward to it.
And off the court as well, Mark.
with the 16th pick, the South select
Big Josh Margets.
Margette's the 4th pick for Leho's South side. And Margette's strong player, AFF, originally came from Central, also featuring in the Futsal Whites Nations Cup campaign last year, Mark. And interesting to see if he's a little bit upset, maybe not being picked a little bit sooner.
Yeah, I mean, you imagine he would have been holding his breath and expecting to be able to let that oxygen out pretty early in this draft. So I think he'll be breathing a big sigh of relief now going in the 4th round. But you'd probably assume he's a little bit upset about that. And I think he'll have to prove himself now on the court. There's no other option really, Todd.
End of round 4, Mark. My pick for this round is probably going to have to be Margette's. What about yourself?
I think Hamish Gray's another great pick as well, as Colpin. And Josh Margette's arguably one of the better looking players in the whole of the National League, and is up there with the nicest smile as well, I believe. I think as soon as he smiles with that moustache, it really does take your breath away. But yes, great pick there, and surprising that he had to wait that long, Todd.
with the 17th pick, the South select Baram Amadi.
Amadi, 5th pick for the South. Played for the Northern Comets last season, Mark, and originally from the Waikato Rapids. And it'd be interesting to see if he's disappointed not maybe playing under Sam Masterton. But yeah, strong pick from Alejo.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see at the moment if he has been picked as the second goalkeeper. So far, we know he does, put in a shift in between the sticks, but can be used as that 5th man as well. So a strong pick if we're looking for a 5th man rotation.
With the 18th pick, Westlands selects Denny Twig.
Twig, one of the 2 Twig brothers. Very healthy pick there from Masterton. Brings a lot of flair to any side he plays for, Mark. And he was featured in the Northern Comet side last season. And yeah, well done, St. Marston. What are your thoughts, Mark?
Well, firstly, bragging rights over his brother. First picked in the Twig family. I mean, again, you said it earlier on, that there's combinations coming up with a lot of these teams where we don't see one Twig on the court when we watch futsal normally. So, you wonder if you try and pick up the second, but a great pick. And Sam obviously sees him as the stronger brother.
With the 19th pick, Eastland selects
I pick Maxwell Eriksson.
Eriksson, fifth pick for Ben Hill's side, Mark. And yeah, pivot, right-footed, also a twin. Wondering if his brother's going to feature later on in the draft. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, Max had a lovely conversation with him after the final last year with the Rapids. He prides himself on his finishing. So let's see if he can put a few more through. I don't think he was known for his goal scoring in that Rapids side, but he does back himself in front of goal.
with the 20th pick, the North select
Logan Wisniewski.
Brother of Kyle Wisniewski. Waikato Rapids player, not featuring in Sam Marsden's side. So it's going to be interesting to see how he fits into a different setup. Young player, futsal white in the Nations Cup last year, Mark, and I think he's got a lot to bring.
Yeah, that's a great pick, really, when you look at who else has gone in this round. I think Logan's a strong player on the ball and brings a bit of flair to the side. I think his leadership will come through, and I think that's a great fifth round pick.
And we're halfway through, Mark, into round 5. Interesting round there. For me, probably Wisniewski. It's Logan Wisniewski for the North. Would be the strongest pick of the round. Certainly brings a lot of experience. Finalist in 2019. And yeah, good addition to Sam Coyle's side.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Amadi brings great versatility. If you want to go for that fifth man rotation. But again, they haven't selected a second goalkeeper yet, the South. So maybe he comes into play in that, where he can play in the outfield as well as keep. But yeah, I mean, great players in that round, fifth round as well.
with the 21st pick, the North select
Twig.
Twig, sixth pick for Sam Coyle's North side. Solid pick there. Older brother of Denny Twig, pivot, right-footed. Certainly got a lot to offer, and I think he certainly strengthens that lineup, Mark, for the North.
Yeah, it's a great pick there. And I like to think that Sam Coyle's gone with Twig later than Wisniewski, just to wind him up for his brother there, just so that he goes the round after. But again, a great pick, and I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of these players go up against their brothers, because it's not often that we talk about them in a sentence where they're not on the court at the same time, Todd.
with the 22nd pick, Eastlands select
Kurillo Balharian.
O'Haran. Don't know much about this one, Mark. All I know is he was coached by Ben Hill at Selwyn College, and he's a young player. So it'll be interesting to see what he brings to the draft, and he could be a player to watch.
Yeah, the second goalkeeper pick for the Eastland side, and you're right, we haven't seen him. I don't believe he has a National League cap at the moment, and so really great opportunity for him to work himself into the AFF side.
with the 23rd pick, Westlands selects
I'll go Jonathan Tobias.
Tobias, the sixth pick for Sam Marsden, knows him well. Waikato Rapid player. He loves the step over, and I'm sure he's going to also bring a lot to the side, Mark, and he'll fit nicely into the setup so far.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really fault anyone picking anyone from the Rapids, really, after last year's performance in the final. Tobias brings a lot of energy to the court, and I expect that that's what the coach will be looking for.
with the 24th pick, the South select Elias Bilhi.
Pillay, second goalkeeper for Aliho's side, and a man with great experience. He's played many games for New Zealand, many games at AFF, and he, for me, brings a lot. And I'm interested to see what you think of that one, Mark.
Well, I mean, you look at the picks of the two goalkeepers so far from the South, two strong goalkeepers. which means that they can really share that workload around. And I mean, what Elias has really done there is helped increase the average age of the South. So they're looking for experience by the looks of things at the moment, and a great pick.
Interesting round 6, Mark. 2 goalkeepers. For me, Belay is probably the stronger out of the 2, and would probably be my pick of the round. Definitely brings a lot of experience, and again, strengthening Aliho South side.
Yeah, it's interesting how the coaches are almost going like for like here. We've got 2 goalkeepers and 2 probably similar court players, both not afraid to get around the court, and then 2 goalkeepers. So yeah, interesting tactics here. When do you play that the goalkeeper? Obviously, still Westlands still need another goalkeeper as well as the North, but Eastlands and South finishing up that goalkeeper allocation.
With the 25th pick, the South select Jimmy Banks.
Banks, another strong pick there from Aliho. Certainly performed well in the IFC Champions League in 2019. Great left foot, AFF player. Haven't seen him since last season, Mark. I wonder what he's been up to in the off-season.
Yeah, well, rumour has it that he's been spending a lot of time in the gym trying to bulk up. And don't be surprised if he turns up to the court in a singlet.
With the 26th pick, Westlands selects.
I'll take Tom Picken.
Picken, 7th pick there for Sam Masterton. Good player, Mark. Fast, very fast. AFF player. Seen a lot of them play in the university space, and he had a good season in 2019. So again, a strong player for Sam's side, and it'll be interesting to see how he fits around that Waikato Rapid. The numbers they've got on there already.
Yeah, the picks are going deep. That's for sure. There's still a lot of talent in these latter rounds of picks. I think he really did shine last season in the National League. The young player coming through, it'll be exciting to see what he can bring to the side.
The 27th pick, Eastlands selects.
I pick James Tuhi.
Tuhi, 7th pick there for Ben Hill's side. Haven't seen a lot of him. He is originally from Auckland, played a few games for AFF in the youth setup, and he's been down in Christchurch University. Son of Paul Tuhi, IFC Futsal Development Manager. So shout out to him. Mark, I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what James Tui's going to bring to the draft. Haven't seen him play before, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, besides the fact that he's left probably the greatest city in the country, it's a great pick as well.
With the 28th pick, the North select.
Declan Peach.
Peach, 7th pick for the North. AFF player, made his debut last season, Mark. Also scored a goal in his first series at the Peak in Hamilton. Nickname is the Spice Man. Do you know much about that one, Mark?
No, but it feels like something we're going to have to dig deeper so we can put that on the rack and talk about it further.
And that brings round 7 to a close, Mark. And probably Picken or Banks would be the 2 I'm looking at here. And both AFF players, both strong players for that side. Picken had a good season last year. Jimmy Banks as well. So I'm probably going to have to go with Picken for round 7 as my pick of the round.
The 29th pick, the North select.
Chris Pearce.
Chris, player that certainly come through the ranks in Auckland through the youth structures, featured in the New Zealand under-18s, now plays for the Northern Comets. Goalkeeper by trade will add certainly some strength there with Mohamed Sabri. Mark, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, they had to pick another goalkeeper, and they've left it late. And it's good again to see the youth coming through. It can't, in terms of goalkeepers left and notable goalkeepers left, I'm not sure what's left. So from my point of view, if he's represented at a young underage level, he's going to be a great addition to the side.
With the 30th pick, Eastlands selects Jake Bessigny.
Bassini loves the game. Interesting pick there for Ben Hill. Haven't seen a whole lot of him play over the last few years, Mark. He's spent a lot of time in Melbourne refining his game, and be interesting to see how he performs back playing in New Zealand, originally from the Manawatu. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, after a quick Google on Jake, and he's down as the Pascoe Vale Futsal Club in Melbourne. Unsure if that is who he's still playing for, but yeah, I mean, exciting to have someone that's got some overseas experience coming back for this. And correct me if I'm wrong, Todd, I believe he's travelling up from Palmy North for these games. So it's a great commitment from the youngster.
Yeah, that is correct. He's going to take that long drive up, Mark, and it's good commitment from the man, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play in this competition.
With the 31st pick, Westlands selects
Tyler Erickson.
Erickson, 8th pick for the Westland side, and another player from the Bay of Plenty Surge, Mark, our brother of Max Erickson, who got picked earlier on, bragging rights for him. Left footer, going to bring a lot to the side, and it'll be interesting to see how he plays with the Rapids heavy lineup. He's quick, he's tall, he's strong, fixo flanker. It's got all the ingredients, Mark.
Yeah, it's good to see another Surge player into the mix. He was a standout performer in that side. They had a tough season in the National League, but yeah, he was a strong performer in that side, so great to see him getting amongst.
with the 32nd pick, the South select
Todd Broadhurst.
Broadhurst, the tallest man in futsal, plays in the pivot role, makes a nuisance of himself, also plays for AFF. Actually, how tall is he, Mark?
That's a great question, Todd. I can actually tell you that he didn't fill out his form properly when he applied to take part in this and has left it blank. So I'm picking about 201 centimetres.
About 6'7", I think, if I'm correct. And yeah, he's a good selection there from Aliho, and he certainly brings some height to this side, Mark.
Yeah, the likes of McEntee and Margetts, not the tallest players on the court. So obviously the coach has decided he needs a bit of height, bit of timber up top.
And that's the end of round 8. And a good round there. But for me, it's going to be Bassini. I haven't seen him play for a long time, come back from Melbourne, and I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the draft. And yeah, hopefully he performs.
The North take their second goalkeeper as well. But I think you're right. It's a player who's been playing overseas coming back into the country. It's exciting.
with the 33rd pick, the South select
Myron Manikin.
Manikin, 9th pick for the South. Got 2 questions here, Mark. Will his dad, Dave Manikin, be the team manager? And will his cousin, Dylan, be picked in the draft this year?
I think first one, definitely Dave will be involved in some form of bid management for any side, really. It doesn't necessarily have to be focused on just one player. And what a great honour it would be. Great honour it is to be picked over Dylan. So congratulations to him. I was going to say he's, feels like he's been around for a long time, but he's 6 years younger than me. So I can't say he's that old, Todd.
Yeah, certainly a good pick there for the South, and bring some experience to that side. Been involved in the AFF setup for a long time. So yeah, well done, Myron.
with the 34th pick, Westlands selects
Sean Morgan.
Morgan, 9th pick for the Westlands. Known for his long hair, plays for Waikato Rapids, 2019 Men's Super League champion in the pivot role, Mark. And I think he comes from down your way, maybe studied down in Christchurch.
Yeah, I believe he's spent a bit of time at the University of Canterbury, and that already gives you +2 power and skill as well as precision. So, yeah, great pick there. I believe he was in the winning Rapid side last year as well. So the experience in the finals is always a useful thing to bring into any squad.
with the 35th pick of the draft, Eastlands selects George Siddels.
Siddels, young pick there from Ben Hill. If anyone knows him, he will, from coaching in the secondary school space. Mark, do you know much about this guy?
No, haven't seen him at all. He gives himself the nickname of Jorginho, which either I made up or is actually what he goes by. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the youngster can bring. It is nice to see, some players that we don't know as well making it into the draw. because it means that when we come to National League as well, there's people pushing for places, and a bit of friendly competition in that space is always good.
With the 36th pick, the North select
Rafael Marins de Sousa.
De Souza, 9th pick for the North. Again, Mark, don't know a whole lot about this player. Interesting pick from Sam Coyle, and it's going to be interesting to see what he can bring to the draft, Mark. Have you heard of him before?
No, and as we said before, I mean, all it does is create competition and pushing for places in the National League. So he's down as a NFF player, so maybe this year he'll be looking to break into that squad as well. So looking forward to seeing what De Souza can bring.
And that brings the second to last round to a close, Mark. And for me, it's going to be Myron Manicum. Certainly of his dad, Dave's going to feature as well. Yeah, getting near the end, a few players we're not too sure of. So it's interesting. Looking forward to seeing what the final squads look like. But yeah, for me, it's going to be Manicum.
with the 37th pick, the North select
Hannah Reddy.
Ready, 10th pick for the North, and Sam Coyle's been loyal there, coached her for the Women's Super League earlier in the year. Player who's come through the NFF youth structures and also featured in the New Zealand Under-18. So yeah, strong pick there from Sam Coyle. Mark, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, she does have an eye for goal, Todd, and brings a lot of experience. I think anyone that has national level experience is a good pick in any side. There's a lot of young players there, and people that have played those big games are perfect for this type of competition. So congratulations to Hannah. Well done.
with the 38th pick, Eastlands selects
Alok Pudal.
Pudal, 10th pick for Ben Hill's Eastland side. Mark, I'm a bit surprised to see Alok's name so far down that list. He's a key member of that AFF Super League side, and he certainly would have been a lot higher up my list. What about you?
Yeah, that's, again, I'm sure he's just happy to be picked now when we've gone this far through. But yeah, that's in the 10th round. It's maybe he's snuck and people have just forgotten about that, or they're trying to build their team in a different way. But yeah, a strong player to be picked in the 10th round.
with the 39th pick, Westlands selects
Connor Jameson.
Jameson, final pick for the Westlands. Had to go for a goalkeeper, Mark, and they've gone with Jameson. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, he's Sam would be the one that would know him. He's from the Waikato, so I think he would have known. He would have had that in his back pocket, probably thinking about after everyone else had picked a goalkeeper. Meant that he knew he had that one in the final round. So very good tactics from the coach, and I'm excited to see what he can bring.
the 40th pick of the draft, the South select
Alexei Bolger.
Bolger, final pick for Aliho's South side, NFF player, Mark, and looks like Aliho's gone for age again.
Yeah, it's a bit of experience. As I've said before, Todd, I've got love for you if you were born in the 80s. The 80s, yeah. So another older player to finish off the South side. Looking at the average age now, it's probably pushing 30. A couple of players bringing down that age, but a solid squad there taking shape.
And yeah, that completes the draft. Round 10 comes to a close, and no-brainer here for me. It's got to be Pordell. Interesting that he wasn't picked sooner, and looking at the four names that just got pulled, it's Pordell all the way. Ready, certainly a good pick there for the North. Strong player, but yeah, I'm going with Pordell.
Yeah, it's an amazing 10th round pick. It's not often you're probably gifted that opportunity. So well done to Ben Hill for keeping his eye on the prize and selecting a great draft there in the 10th round.
So Aliho's side to South, for me, very strong lineup. He probably got the two best goalkeepers in the draft, in my opinion, in this side. A lot of pivots featuring, Broadhurst, Amadi, and McEntee. You got Mark Getz featuring in there, Manicum on the flanks. It's a pretty well balanced side, maybe a bit heavy on the pivots, but yeah, Aliho's done a good job. Looking forward to seeing how Anthony's going to feature in there as well. Mark, what are your thoughts?
Experience. That's what it looks like to me, Todd. I mean, any team with Mr. Futsal himself in it is always going to be a well-drilled, experienced side. And I mean, it'd be interesting to see how many National League caps you have within some of these players. Eakins, how many seasons he played, McInty, Margetts, Elias Billy. You know, there's a lot of years of experience at National League level in that side. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the style they play, 3 pivots, as you mentioned. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this side.
Yeah, for me, it's probably, looking at the sides, probably the Souths or Westlands for me, who could probably take it out. And if you look at the Westland side, it's very Waikato Rapids heavy, which, you know, makes sense when Sam Masterton's the coach. But yeah, Geordie Dipford's going to be a danger linking up with Wisniewski, as well as Martin in that fixo role. It's, yeah, Patrick Steele in between the sticks. So a lot of them have played together before, many games, 2019 champions with the Rapids. So for me, it's going to be probably a bit of an arm wrestle between Westlands and South.
Yeah, Denny Twigg really is almost an outsider in that Westland side. Heavy on the Waikato players, which, you know, I guess it is a winning formula. Sam Masterton knows he can win a tournament with this squad, or a heavy Waikato Rapids squad, and maybe Twigg will be the extra spark that they need. Yeah,
Ben Hill's Eastland side, looking at that squad, certainly he's gone for youth, and he's coached in that space before. It'll be interesting to see how Dan Colpin plays in there, probably the most experienced with Hannah Crackman and Somerville. And for me, we said it before, Bassini is probably the one to watch, and I'm interested to see how he's going to link up with some of these players, Pordell as well. So, yeah, bit of youth, a little bit of experience. These guys could be, you know, they could challenge Westlands or South.
I think they could be the surprise package. I mean, when we look at some of those players that we don't know a lot about, is, you know, does Ben have some information that we don't have, and is he expecting to see a strong performance from some of these guys coming through? So, yeah, it could be one to watch.
You know, look at the North, Sam Coyle, the coach. Obviously, he's from NFF region, coached a lot there, coached the women's side. He's gone for 7 NFF players, probably more balanced than the other sides in terms of the makeup. Logan Wisniewski, I believe, is going to play a key role with Ashby Peckham. And yeah, good to see Cooper featuring in there, and Reddy got only side with 2 females featuring. And you've got, you know, Mohammed Sabri in goal. So again, they are strong. I mean, looking at these squads across the spectrum, there's going to be some good futsal being played, Mark.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you look at this team, they are going to move around the court very well. Colpin, Twigg, Wisniewski, Ashby, Espinosa, they all move around, as well as Cooper and Reddy. We've seen what they can do on the court as well. So there's a couple of players, again, that we haven't seen a lot of, and, you know, really looking forward to seeing what they can bring.
Yeah, so looking across the 4 teams, Mark, and we've gone through all the players. I mean, they're pretty well balanced, and I'm actually quite happy how it's worked out. It's a good system. But for me, I'd say the strongest team, and maybe I've gone with experience here, it's probably the South. And I'd probably double round robin, and in straight final, it's probably going to be a South Westland final for me this year. Mark, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one to think about. I mean, I think the South is a strong side, but, you know, when we look at what happened last year with AFF in the Men's Super League, didn't make the playoffs for the first time for as long as I can remember, and that was surprising. And that team, you know, experience is something that can be useful at times, but also there's going to be times where you start to see these younger players coming through and taking your spot. But I think that's what's going to make that team really hungry to fight through it. I think the table is going to be tight. I don't see one team running away with a straight victory in every single game. And I think, you know, when you look at each of the teams, there's a massive opportunity for all of them if they can get, it's about momentum over these weekends. And if the teams can connect, I think the fact that the Westland side has a heavy Waikato space, a lot of them have played together before, that might help them get momentum early on in the competition. But then we see the youth of the Eastland sides, and then the North coming through with some of the players that have played together before. We might see them be able to get the combinations right. So, I mean, I'm not often wrong with these things here, but I think it could be the Westland side that take it out. I mean, you look at those players. We've got Ethan Martin, the MVP. He's got a lot to prove coming in. Geordie Ditfit, Wisniewski, Twig, Picken. It's a good side, and they're young and they're active, and I expect to see them run around a lot.
Look at the coaches across the teams as well, Mark. Some names here, a bit of experience. Obviously, Sam winning the Super League last year. I mean, how much influence do you think they're going to have, across this competition?
Yeah, the interesting thing will be whether or not they know their players and how much time they have together, where you can actually see what combinations work. As we know that, futsal is such a big part of futsal is getting your combinations right. We see the way, Northern do their subs, which is pretty much a 4-for-4, and it's about getting those combinations right. And I mean, I think that's where Masterson's kind of gone out and picked a side that he knows, and brought in just a couple of players that he doesn't know a lot about, which makes it easier for him to get those rotations in his head. But also with the, Marvin Ekins being in the side as well for the South, it also means he's got a lot of experience on and off the court, and he'll be able to help out a lot with those combinations as well. So yeah, it's about trying to get to know your players as quickly as you can so that you can get those rotations working well and get the best combinations on the court.
I see what you're saying there, Mark, and I tend to agree with you. And it's I'm hoping we're going to see some exciting futsal played out on the court, and lots of goals scored. And I'd love to hear who you think the top goal scorer is going to be.
That's a great question. I mean, Colpin's always been up there in terms of goal scoring, and McInty as well. Ashby, there's a lot of goals to be had, but this year, I don't know why, but Hamish Gray is reaching out to me, and I think he's going to pull through and be the top goal scorer, followed by Krachman.
My two picks will probably be between Adam Polston and Kyle Wisniewski. Both players, strong players on the court, and they both like to score. Polston loves a toe poke. Wisniewski isn't shy to have a shot at goal. So I'm going to disagree with you there, and I'm probably going to go with Wisniewski. In terms of the strongest player in the draft, Mark, obviously the coaches picked in the order that they did, and we've discussed that in some length. So who would your top player be, and who would you have picked first?
It's a great question. I mean, I think a coach is always going to pick a player that they know. And I mean, you and I have a luxury of watching pretty much every single game that has been played of National League futsal in the last year. So we get a bit of a better view. Ethan Martin had a strong performance last year. But, there's also players like Ashby, who was the year before the MVP. You've also got, Sean McInty kind of finding his feet up north as well. But in terms of, the big time player that I'm going to see come through here, I think Geordie Ditfit is someone that can bring a lot of spice to a team. And if he's on form, then he's unstoppable. And obviously, you really can't go past Mr. Futsal himself either. So you can't write him off yet as he ages.
Yeah, for me, Mark, it's probably, I think you said it earlier in the conversation, Ethan Martin, I think last year is phenomenal, and he wants to push into the Futsal Whites team, and I think he's just going to carry his form on into this draft. So he's certainly going to be, he would have been my first pick, without a doubt.
But, I mean, Todd, thinking about what the picks we've seen tonight, any names for you that kind of stand out that haven't been drafted this evening?
Well, Mark, it's a good question. I mean, there were 99 registrations for the draft, which was really good to see. 48 players obviously picked. And looking at these squads, there's probably 3 or 4 names that I thought maybe would have featured, and personally I would have picked. First one probably would have been Tessa Leong. Certainly a strong player for AFF in the women's game, and she would have been in one of my teams, certainly an exciting player to watch. Nazri Gamri would have probably featured as well. Spent a bit of time with him in the university side. He brings a lot to your team, bit of a character as well. And then probably Connor McConchy, another AFF player. Would have looked to potentially get him on one of these squads. But it's tough. I mean, 99 players to pick from. There's always going to be players that miss out. And I think the first time this draft has been done, it's an exciting, inaugural event to get off the ground, and I've done a great job in doing that. So I'm sure this is going to continue for years to come, and players are going to get an opportunity to sort of show their skill set, in this format. That brings the 2020 NRF Futsal Premier League draft to a close. Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure delivering the draft for you, and I really look forward to potentially sitting next to you soon with the mic, commentating some futsal. It's been too long, my friend, COVID-19. So hopefully we get on that court for the Men's Super League coming up, starting, and maybe even the draft.
Kia ora.
This now concludes the 48 players who have been selected for the NRF Futsal Premier League 2020. Thank you to all those who entered, and congratulations to those who have been selected. For any further information on the NRF Futsal Premier League, please head to the Futsal tab on the Northern Region Football website. Ka kite anō.